all right. So I guess we can get into the next big story that is probably the story I'm personally most excited for.
Yeah.
This is something it's felt like I've been waiting for this for forever. Ubisoft finally revealed the next entry in their Assassin's Creed franchise. The subtitle for this one is called Valhalla, and this time we're following Vikings, and it's taking place in a Norse setting. Now, this is literally a perfect storm for me. Now, I'm a newer Assassin's Creed fan. I jumped in with Odyssey. I went back to Origins. So I'm one of the new fans. So if y'all are old school Assassin's Creed fans, I know I'm one of those guys you hate. I understand. But I literally am in love with the Norse setting. Mm-hmm. And you injecting Assassin's Creed into a Norse setting, this is such a Jabrel game, like, I swear. And watching this trailer, like, I had goosebumps everywhere, where I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, finally, a setting that really, really resonates with me. Now, I love ancient Greece and like the Renaissance Italy and all the different places they've gone so far. I think have been really cool, Victorian England and stuff like that. But man, they're like, especially coming off of like God of War, how much that showed how awesome Norse mythology can be. And then on top of that, Hellblade doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You throw in Assassin's Creed finally being able to really explore a Norse environment and how awesome the Vikings were, and the fact that it looks like they're taking some like creative liberties in terms of playing with like showing the Vikings how maybe they actually were, instead of just, kind of pillaging and killing people. There was another side of things where these were regular people who lived real lives, who really tried to make the best life they could for themselves. I think that's a really kind of interesting approach that I don't think too many pieces of media have ever explored before. Not to mention, if you guys haven't watched the trailer, go there now and watch this. The hidden blade coming back, like, oh my god. So it looks like there's some kind of head nod to the older school fans, like, hey guys, we're not ignoring you guys completely, and we understand you had some problems with Origins and Odyssey in the direction they went, and specifically Odyssey. It looks like they're going to probably address some of those issues. Not to mention, there's been some statements that they've released that they're going to try to make it less grindy than Odyssey. Which means that it looks like they're going to try their very best to keep on the trajectory they're going on, because again, Odyssey was incredibly successful for them. So I don't think ever going back to original Assassin's Creed is ever going to happen. Unfortunately for the original fans, I don't think that's going to happen. However, I think they're definitely going to try to fix some of the stuff that put off people, so they can please as many people as realistically possible. But what are you feeling about the AC Valhalla?
So I was super excited for this. So we're, for those who didn't see, they did this really cool kind of team up with Boss Logic, which is great. Artist, I love his work. I love his work.
Awesome artist.
Oh, he's so good. So they did that live stream where pretty much they started with a blank slate, and he was slowly painting the setting and the male character. Well, at the time we didn't know. I was under the guessing that he was going to do a female main character, but which they did confirm now you can do that.
Of course, so it's going to keep the choice from like Odyssey.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why people thought that would go away. So that was really cool. And as soon as he started drawing some of the ships in and stuff like that, and the castle and the destroyed castle with the Vikings, I was just super on board, because I do love the Norse mythology, and it's such a different aspect, because we're like in God of War, you're actually playing the mythology.
Yeah.
Now this is a world that believes in that mythology, which is it's so interesting and cool to say that. It's like, oh, what's the comparison? It's like, well, no, that is the mythology, and in a sense you can be like, no, this is based in this world, that mythology exists, which is just so cool. The weapons, like when I was watching that trailer, I was like, man, I hope I can throw an axe at someone, and immediately he just whoosh, and you see someone just get the axe to the face.
Oh, it was like, one point.
Oh my goodness, I was like, this is so cool, and I'm like, this is so cool, and I'm a I guess original Assassin's Creed fan. I really love those original classic games. I'm very accepting of where the series went. Origins wasn't really my thing. Odyssey really reeled me in, and obviously with this trailer, I went and installed Odyssey again and was playing it. I think this Assassin's Creed is showing to be everything people wanted. People who want the old classic Assassin's Creed game, what you got from those games are still here. In an aspect, except for I guess Desmond's story, which ended so long ago. There's more games I think without Desmond and his bloodline than it is with him. So I'm not sure why
easily by this point, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why there's such a still like dying for that aspect when the games are like hands down better. You know, like Odyssey had really good storytelling. Origins even had some good cutscenes, and some of the story, the way they told the story was really there. You know, Odyssey did very much depart from like the actual Assassins like mythos thing, with just not even having the hidden blade for so long and stuff like that, and hiding some of that stuff behind DLC walls. But you know, Black Flag is the first one, which is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which really took a departure and left the whole Templar versus Assassins thing. And I know it's still there underlying and it's really intertwined. I'm just confused why people are so hurt that it's like, oh, it's not really Assassin's Creed anymore. Why wasn't this game just called Valhalla? I'm like, I don't want this to be. It's because it shows what you expect from gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, and they're bringing so much new stuff where they're like, yeah, you can pillage villages and stuff, but then you can like settle there and build like a village and your own ecosystem kind of working to an extent. They haven't shown it, but they have discussed so much of it. This game has everything I want from it. I can't wait. I'm obviously going to probably pre-order this as soon as I think the pre-orders are live. I'm not going to pay for it right now. But
oh, yeah. You best believe I already pre-ordered it.
Yeah. So it's going to be great. The Norse setting, the Viking stuff is great. Having the character choice between male and female is there for whoever wants it. Because in watching that boss logic thing, the comment section was of course toxic with, oh, I hope there's no females, and vice versa. I hope it's only female, and I hope it's this and this. I'm like, guys, it's going to be, in my heart, I was like, it's either going to be you have the option again, or I was like, they're going to go all the way. And because of how much, like, Cassandra was really the icon of Odyssey, even though there's like a percentage where it was like more people picked Alexios for some reason. You had a weaker story if you picked Alexios. The way they did it with Cassandra just was a little bit better. I thought they were going to go full-in female protagonist. But I'm okay with the option. They're saying they're both canon, so I don't know how that works. If they're probably just constantly in the cuts. You know, they're both canon in Odyssey, actually, because the other one appears. To avoid spoiler, the other one appears.
Yeah, if they want to make them both canon, I suppose what they can do is get rid of that kind of like rival mechanism that Odyssey had.
Yeah.
Where like Cassandra and Alexios both existed in this universe, kind of going against each other. And if you just remove that dynamic and instead have like a Mass Effect style approach, where femshep versus maleshep, I think that's probably how they're going to do it, is that they're going to take away the narrative tying to the genders and instead literally just allow you to inject yourself into one avatar or another and kind of experience it how you want to experience it. Romances are very fluid in the modern Assassin's Creed games, so I guess that's probably how they're going to attach it, where it's like whether you play as a male version or the female version, you can kind of go whatever direction you want to get, and you don't get any more or less of a experience to basically try to please both sides. Because I guess if you put too much weight on the female side, people who want to play as a male feel like you're kind of forcing their hands, forcing them into one direction. But if you remove that, and it's like, listen, you could romance whoever you want, you could see every cutscene the way you want, you could play the way you want, no matter who you choose, I feel like that kind of appeases both sides. Where it's like, if you want to play as a female, you can play as a female. If you want to play as a male, you want to play as a male. No matter what direction you get the full experience. And I think that's the smart way to do it. Because the moment you start putting too much story into one side versus the other, you're starting to kind of cut off the legs of the people who want to play the other character. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so I think this game's going to be successful. I see it. Unless there's some weird like game-breaking bug. I don't see why this game looks like it's going to nail on everything. And we're only going to see more of it as we get closer to its release. And it's gonna be great, and obviously probably releasing very close. I know it is coming until like next gen consoles. Hopefully it's at the point where I don't have to wait too long and I can get it on
holiday 2020.
Holiday 2020, and it said PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, awesome. Stadia, and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm super excited to see that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm so excited about this game, and in my opinion, for my taste, what I like in games, I feel like these games are getting better and better for me. However, like, I do want to say that I am sympathetic for the people who were there with the original Assassin's Creed and played with every single one. And I know it's difficult to kind of like fall in love with something and really get invested and put money towards and put years of your life towards, especially during your formative years and your early teen years, where like this and for many people was like part of their upraising. And then for it to change so fundamentally and kind of play towards an entire different base, I know could be difficult for people, but I think also people need to understand the fact that with time, things evolve, and the game industry is not what it used to be. People are not necessarily looking for the same thing. And I mean, if you want to be completely honest and frank with things, the old style wasn't doing the franchise any favors. It wasn't performing well anymore, to be honest. And not until they reinvented it and went towards the bigger RPG thing, the game exploded in sales. And it's more popular than ever. And so the unfortunate reality for a lot of these people is the people who want that kind of old school linear Assassin's Creed approach, though I am sympathetic for you guys, you're kind of a vocal minority at this point. And so it's like I am sympathetic to these people and I don't want to dismiss them as in like you're stupid for wanting that, but at the same time I think people need to understand that like this franchise is bigger than it's ever been now in terms of like a player count level, and you got to do what's viable for your franchise. And it would be awesome if they like doubled down on the Ezio thing and were being like, okay, this is what Assassin's Creed and will always be, and we're not diverting from that. But would you rather Assassin's Creed be dead? Because that's what it would be at this point. Because the whole, and I don't want to be dismissive of what they did in the past. That what they did in 07 is not going to cut it in 2020.
No, absolutely not. Because you have to realize the game industry is moving ahead, and games are going to do what it's doing better. Like, you know, if you play the original Assassin's Creed game, you can pretty much beat everyone within like 25 hours.
Pretty easily,
doing some side missions. You know, people put 80 hours, 120 hours into Odyssey.
Easily.
You did what, 75, 80 hours?
Yeah, just under 80, yeah.
You know, it's an incredible feature to have someone keep playing your game for that long, to be invested in the DLC, and you know, that's why they stopped doing the quick yearly Assassin's Creed games, because they didn't have the time to, and I know they had different studios like a la Call of Duty and stuff like that, but the games were very samey because no one could take a chance, and the games were very similar, and it's like, oh, okay, you could beat for beat, guess what's going on. Creating a true open world and a reason to explore is where the game is going to go, and I think fits the new style of Assassin's Creed. The old games are still there, you know. If you want the Ezio trilogy, go play. Even the Ezio trilogy, the last game in the Ezio trilogy was very underwhelming. And 3, I have a whole mess of problems with, even though that wasn't in the original style. These games, I was able to fall in, as a diehard original Assassin's Creed fan, I was able to re-fall in love with the series thanks to a little bit of Origins, but mainly Odyssey. So, which is why I'm even just more hyped for Valhalla.